Parashat Vayigash, in the end of the Parasha, we found something very interesting. We found that Yosef moves around the entire country. Every person in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, was moved from his house. Those that lived in the west, he moved them to the other side of town, to the other side of the country, to the west. Those that live in the west, he moved them to the east, and so on and so forth. Nobody stayed at his town. Nobody could stay at his home. But why would a person do such a thing? Yosef was the ruler of Mitzrayim. He looked for the benefit of the land. Why would he make everybody move? When you move somebody, that person loses his stability, loses his friends, loses his welfare, his parnasah sources. What's going on over here? Why would Yosef do such a strange thing? Rashi tells us the reason. Rashi says the following: לא צריך לא כתוב לכתוב זאת, אלא להודיעך שבחו של יוסף. The Passuk points this out for a reason, and that is to praise Yosef. שנתכוון להסיר חרפה מעליכיו, שלא יהיו קוראים אותם גולים. In order to take away an embarrassment from the brothers of Yosef, so nobody can call them foreigners. Nobody would call them strangers. A very common insult is to call a person a stranger, a foreigner. Go back home. You don't belong here. When you do that, that person gets really hurt. The Torah points out many times not to insult a ger. Rashi tells us a ger doesn't mean only somebody who came into the Jewish nation, but a ger is anybody who's not at his hometown. That's called a ger. And when you call a person at those hurting names, insulting names, as a stranger, as a foreigner, he gets very deep into his heart. So Rashi knew that people are ready to insult the brothers. He took measures, and he right away made everybody foreigners. Everybody were out of their place. So now nobody can insult Yosef's brothers. By the way, extra point, you see from here how much Yosef went out of his way to change the entire country. Every person was sacrificing in order so his brothers would not get insulted. But this point that people were ready to insult Yosef's brothers, that's also strange. People were right now suffering from very strong hunger. They were getting to make themselves into slaves to Yosef. This is how strong the hunger was. They were losing everything that they had. All they have in mind right now is to insult the brothers. That's very strange. They should be occupying themselves with different things. But the answer to that is that when a person is in such a state that he is low and he feels low, he starts making others feel low as well. That's the normal way of people. When they feel good about themselves, they make others feel good. When they feel low about themselves, they make others feel low. And now, since the entire country of Mitzrayim were losing their high level and self-esteem, and they were breaking down slowly, and feeling lower and lower by the day, the way it manifests itself is that you make others feel that way as well. We found that actually in last week's Parasha. In last week's Parasha, when Paro tells Yosef the dreams, he tells him, and that was the dream. Paro's dream had two things in the dream, and we'll see it inside. הנה מן היאור עולות 7 פרות יפות מראה ובריאות בשר ותראינו באחו. Paro dreams about cows that have two things in them, יפות מראה ובריאות בשר. They were beautiful, they were pretty looking, they were nice looking, יפות מראה, and also בריאות בשר. They were fatty, they were healthy, they had a lot of flesh in them. Two things. But when Yosef interprets the dream for Paro, he only goes on the point of briot basar, and he tells him that comes as a mashal to what's going to happen those 7 years, that there will be a lot of food, there will be a lot of success. That's the Briot Basar, 7 good years. But Yosef does not point anything about Yefot Mareh. It doesn't say anything about the fact that those cows were also beautiful. They were nice. They Yefot Mareh. They look good. So Rashi says that's part of the dream. That this point of the dream is part of the Briot Basar. It goes together. What does that mean? Rashi says Yefot Mareh simanu limot hasova שהבריות נראות יפות זו לזו שאין אין בריאה צרה בחברתה. It's a hint, Rashi says, Simanu Lemor Sova. I already told you, says Yosef, Yemei Sova, those are met by what it says, Briot Basar. So what does it mean, Yefot Mar'eh? That's what happens when somebody is Briot Basar, when you have 7 good years and everybody's successful, they have a good economy, they bring parnasa home, everything works beautiful, nobody has problems, everybody's successful. So right away it's Yefot Mar'eh. Everybody looks at others in a good eye. Shabriot nirot yafot zu lazu, and everybody sees the other as pretty, as nice. You see the good in others. She'en en bria tzara bechaverta. No eye is tzara, looks at the other in a bad way, in a bad manner. Everybody looks at the other in a good way, in a good manner. That's a very, very important thing. So we learn from this Rashi that when everybody is happy, when everybody is successful, everybody also is okay with the other. Although we're not perfect, but you don't see all the defaults of the other. Rather, you see the good in the other, and you overlook the defaults. But what happens when things are bad? When things are bad, all of a sudden you don't see the good in others anymore. And you only see the fault, and with that fault, you also expound and you see how terrible it is. And you're ready to insult and to hurt him and to bite him. And by the way, that's something that we saw much right now when we experienced the virus. All of a sudden people became bitter. You saw them, that many people that were nice up to now, all of a sudden became hurtful, became insulting, became screaming, became agitated. I saw this over and over again by Jews and not Jews. You see, you stand in line, all of a sudden people are screaming at the others. All of a sudden you see stories all over in shuls as well, in airlines and so on and so forth. When things become bad, all those bad midot that a person has hiding come out. But when everything is good, when a person is successful, that doesn't affect him at all. That bad doesn't come out, and then he could be nice and polite and helpful and so on. But that's what happens over here. And actually, that point that I'm explaining right now, we saw in the Haftarah last week, in the Haftarah of the 2 ladies that came in front of Shlomo HaMelech. Az tavona shtayim nashim. 2 women came in front of Shlomo HaMelech. And the story was that they lived in the same house and they both gave birth at the same time. One lady, while she was sleeping, she slept over her baby and she suffocated him and he died. When she realized that, she went and she exchanged her baby with the other lady's baby. And when the other lady woke up, she saw a dead baby. But she looked further and she saw it's not her baby, it's her friend's baby. And they came in front of Shlomo HaMelech for Din Torah. Each one is screaming that she has the live baby and her friend is the mother of the dead baby. Shlomo HaMelech, when he realized he has a very interesting case in front of him and he can't judge it, normally he has to find a new way of judging and getting to the point of what happened here. He decides that he should take a sword and he'll cut the baby, the live baby, and give half to one woman and half to the other. So what happens over here, that the mother, that it was her baby, right away screamed, no, give the other the baby, give the other woman the baby, give her, don't kill the baby. Vatomer ha'isha asher bna chai el hamelech כי נחרמו רחמיה על בנה ותאמר בי אדוני תנו לה את הילוד. Give her the baby, give her את הילוד החי. והמת אל תמיתו, don't kill him. Why not? Because this woman knew this is her baby. It's a mother can't see her baby die. But what was the reaction of the other woman? That's what's important for our derasha today. The other woman said, זאת אומרת, גם לי, גם לך לא יהיה. גזור. The other woman said, no, cut the baby. No, I shouldn't have, and you shouldn't have. Interesting. I shouldn't have, and you shouldn't have. Because of that, we should kill a baby? The answer is that when a woman like that lost her baby, she felt so bad, so low, so depressed, she now doesn't want the other to have a baby as well. She's now feels bad about any mother that has a baby. She doesn't want any mother to have a baby. Even more so that woman that lives with her in the house. Why is that? That's a reaction of the way she feels. It's a reflection of the way she feels. And if she would be elevated in midot, she would overcome that. She would realize that it's all from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's what meant to be. And definitely you can't hurt somebody else because of your tzara, your suffering. Absolutely you can do that. But she just reacted as normal people that don't work on their midot and don't work on their emunah would react. And that is, if I don't have, you shouldn't have. And that's the way things work. Chazal point this out in short words. And they say, Kol haposel bemumo posel. If you see somebody insulting the other, hurting the other, telling the other negative things, you should know he has that within himself. Why? Because if you see negative in others, you should know that this is you. It's not only them. And therefore, in our parasha, when we see that those people are in such hunger, they're losing so much, the natural reaction would be that they would start insulting the brothers of Yosef and telling them what would they to be insulting the brothers of Yosef? They were such successful people in every mean. There's one thing they could insult, and this is call them foreigners, strangers. You're not from here. Go back home. Go to your country. Yosef realized, and he knew that's what's going to happen, and he made sure to prevent that, move everybody away from their house, to save their brothers from the embarrassment.